Welcome to the Sunday Reach by the Dominicans. Why is the lost sheep so important to the shepherd? My dear brothers and sisters, in today's gospel, we have the parable of the lost sheep. Jesus narrates the story when one out of the 100 sheep is lost. Now, the shepherd, leaving the 99 in the wilderness, goes in the search of the lost one. In fact, he takes a big risk, leaving the 99 in the wilderness. Probably some more could have been lost in the absence of the shepherd. But he takes the risk because he cannot afford to lose one, or he simply cannot give up on the one that was lost. And so he goes in search of the lost one. And then what happens? When the sheep was found, the gospel tells us the shepherd rejoices. He's so happy. He lifts the sheep and puts it on his shoulder and brings it back. And then he calls his friends, his neighbors, and they all celebrate this great joy. My dear brothers and sisters, I was reflecting on this aspect. As I said, the lost one is so important. Why? That shows how much the shepherd loves each and every one. All those sheep that are his. He loves them all, I believe, equally. No one is excluded. Everyone is given equal love and attention. And when it was lost, the anxiety, the fear, the sadness of the shepherd, and then it was found, the joy, rejoicing, lifting up the sheep on his shoulder, and then celebration with his friends and neighbors. My dear brothers and sisters, I was just thinking about myself. If I am the lost sheep, and if I was to be found back by my God, how much He would be rejoicing. It only shows that God has a special love for each and every one of us. He loves us so much, very, very personally. That is what the point is. He loves us very personally. It is shown in this parable. Lifting the sheep, putting on his shoulder, with joy returning home, celebrating, taking risk, leaving the 99 aside. So the personal love, a personal attention to the sheep, and I believe this is how God is to each and every one of us. We hear this question from various people. When someone is afflicted with sickness and pain, or some crisis, one after the other, the people tend to question, why me? If that person is not healed in spite of praying so much or treatment all around, and yet the healing does not come, the people tend to question God, why me? My dear brothers and sisters, I would say we have answer to this question, why me? Why am I suffering? Why am I going through so much of pain? Why am I going through so much of hurdles in my life? And I'm so good. I try to live a good life or righteous life. Try my best to be good. And yet, why am I? This question is asked very often, especially by youngsters when they come across certain sicknesses in their life. I think this parable has an answer to this question. The fact that God, the shepherd, goes in search of this one, the that means you are the one. He loves you. He loves you in your sicknesses. He loves you in your crisis. He loves you when you are troubled. You are being lifted all the time on His shoulder. You are cared, you are loved, you are nurtured. Yes, our pains may not be less, or we may not be experiencing the healing. That does not mean that God does not love us. What we need to do is, this moment when we go through the crisis or sicknesses, we need to experience the love of God. At least at our intellectual level, we need to strongly believe God loves me. And this conviction itself will set me free from all pains. Though physically the ailment will be still there, yet the deep joy will be in our hearts, knowing that God loves me very personally. He takes detailed care of you. And this is what the parable is all about. So my dear brothers and sisters, we may not have answers to our questions, why me? But we need to believe God loves us. God loves me in my own circumstances, in my own situations, in my own struggles. He does not give up us. He simply does not leave us alone. We may not feel His presence. We may not feel His touch. We may not feel His healing. That does not mean God is not with us. He is with us. He loves us, and He will always be with us, just the way the Good Shepherd goes in search of the one that was lost. So my dear brothers and sisters, let us believe the personal love of God in each and every one of us in our lives. God is very much personally in relationship with us. He loves us, He cares for us. Let us believe this and live in the love of God and be set free.